this one, shout out to Kurt and Mai. This was a shirt from an engagement that I got to be a part of. Mai proposed to Kurt, so she made us these awesome shirts. She wifed him. He did say yes, by the way. That was my first proposal I'd ever been a part of, that the woman was proposing to the man. It was pretty cool. He was very surprised. So I wanted to keep wearing this shirt, but like I said, I like tank tops better than t-shirts. So I'm going to cut it up so that I will wear it more. So let's do, we're going to start with the neck again this time. So I'm going to flip it inside out. And this one, I'm going to do a slightly different shape. Oops, because this is a racerback tank. I want to have the neckline going a little bit closer to the actual collar of the shirt this time versus a little wider like I was in the last ones. So the reason being is because once I put the strap over my shoulder, it's going to come into a racerback in the back, and so I want it to be a little closer. So in order to get ready for this one, I'm going to use your marker or highlighter to just mark how wide do you want the straps next to your neck. I'm going to do mine, let's see, what does 2.5 inches look like? That looks good. So we'll do 2.5 right there, and then 2.5 on this side. 1, 2.5 right there. Okay. And for the inside, I'm really just going to cut right next to the collar that's already there, so I don't even need to actually trace that part. So in order to get started, I have these little marks. I'm actually going to just turn this so that I can see and keep that mark going onto the seam. All right, now I'm going to cut out the collar. Keeping in mind that on the front, this is the neckline I'm going to have. On the back, we're going to cut that down a little bit more, but just to get started, go ahead and cut the whole collar off. And that will give us a better base to work with. So I'm just going to right on the edge here. Okay, well, here. Say maybe like, I don't know, person here, lower than the white is line of the maker. Look at your neck. Are you inching up? Look at that. Alright, on the back, like I said, we're going to do something else, so it's okay if it's a little jagged on the back side. So, front side, top of the collar is done. What I'm going to do now is measure from the green marks that I made down to the armpit hole, right here. And that will allow me to have the little tank top straps that I'm looking for. So I'm going to Alright, so I'm going to measure the armpit and make a little swoop here, up here, not hard to I'm going to go a little more on this side, there you go. I'm going to try out and see, you know what, I'm going to mark this out, 1 inch and a quarter, halfway, see, so shoulder wide, so I'm going to mark all this, so I'm going to mark here, to the side, and from the bottom, on the out. Okay, so we're going from here, do that mark in there, and wrap around, so I'm looking at the side and trying to mirror that image. You can do measure the way, to make sure that there again, so I'm kind of off here. Alright, so we have our 2 tank sleeves. This is how we're going to cut just the front. The back we're going to do razorback. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that first before we cut, and then that way we can just cut in one fell swoop. So we've got, I'm going to hold this up so you can see. So we've got this mark where my finger is the edge of the tank top strap. And so I've turned it over, I've made a mark on the top, and I'm just going to extend that a little so I can see it better on the back. Do that on both sides. All right, so we've got that. So now I'm going to flip it over, and we get to make up some little racerback straps. So it's a good kind of point of reference for me to know where the middle of this back of the shirt is. So I'm going to make a fold down the middle, where I think is the middle, and mark it, and then we can use that as a guide as we go. So I'm going to line up the sleeves, lay it down, okay, kind of pull the shirt out. I'm going to check the bottom hem and line those up. Okay, So I have a nice half shirt here. And now I'm just going to make some marks along this middle line so that I'll know where it is. Okay. And open back up. All right. We've got a middle point. All right, so now I'm gonna measure down from the top to decide where I want that top V. So imagine cutting out a V here, and then we'll do the straps angled in. So to get our kind of midpoint, I'm gonna go 5 inches down and make a mark here. So this is our kind of X marks the spot. And then from the midpoint, I'm gonna go out to the inside of the strap. So this strap stops right there, and I'm gonna just bring that down a little bit so I can see it, and same thing on this side, bring that strap down. And so we're gonna go from the green to that midpoint. I'm gonna make a little line there, and going from the green again on this corner to the midpoint. All right, there is our top of the razorback. And now to continue the straps on the back, I'm gonna use this ruler and trying to just look at this here and keeping it about the same, because at the top I wanna say it's about 2 1/4 by the time I cut it. So let's say I'm gonna make another 2 1/4 mark here. Same thing on the other side, 2 1/4. All right, and then I'm just gonna make a line, and then we can play with it. So a line there, and then on the other side, same thing. It's never smooth on the marker on the t-shirt. All right, so you can choose really what the design of your racerback you want. You could go straight down into like a whole V here. As long as there's something connecting the bottom of the shirt, you can make it as skinny as you want. I'm gonna start to curve this out here so that it'll kind of go make an X on my shoulders. I think that'll be good for me. And actually, now that I'm looking at this, I think this will be better if it's a little bit curved on the inside too. So I'm gonna make a little curve there. So I've got a curved X, so I'm not gonna pay attention to those, just here. And then curve the insides about the same. Curve. And I'm going to aim this line towards the armpit. Let me move it so you can see. So towards underneath the armpit here. And I've got a little racerback. And same thing on this side. I'm going to aim this line at the armpit. Okay. Now looking at this, I can see that I needed this. This is a different angle than this side, so I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna go from here this time. There we go. So I'm gonna follow the bottom line, and we will make a little tank. On the inside of that first. There we go. So I went down this line. I'm being careful not to cut the other side. That's or whatever way to do it. So I'm around. Back up. I'm chopping my knife. That's really nice and smooth here. So try and let me see. Right, a little bit here. I'm just gonna go. Alright, so that's one front. V across the shoulders. Good to V. And now, see the edit there. I the front and across over here. So what we need is starting to make see very often. Let's just over here. So I'm come in here and it goes and go from there. So I'm trying to second down cover and try to just V. Once you know you're in that corner, you still make sure that I'm the voice and should be. Over the top. A little bit loose through the seams. Here on the front shirt. Alright, there's another. Good. So okay, this one I twice. I'm lower to fine. Okay, looking good. And there's our racerback. Okay, now last but not least, for the bottom edge, I'm gonna keep it inside out and fold it so that the armholes are together and find the middle point here. Okay, so I've lined up the sides here, and then the armholes, we'll try to make those about the same. Okay, and now making sure that the bottom edges are lined up, adjust that a little so that we have a flat semi-uniform surface here. All right, so this side is the front of the shirt and this side is the back. So I'm gonna go kind of a diagonal all the way from this corner to this corner. And making sure though that when I start on this side, it's a little bit flat. Otherwise we'll get a V right there, a point. We don't want that. So a little flat, and then it's gonna swoop up and it's gonna flatten out here on the other side. So I'm gonna give myself some guidance. I'm thinking we'll start about here and then we'll end up about here. So I'm going to be there. So about there. So I'm just a little bit here. So this is just right, but then it's so quickly. I'm going to do that. Yeah. And some okay, let's open up. This is the back side. Let's see, okay, looking good. And then the front. Looks good. Let's flip it inside out. And I'm gonna try it on. Originally I was gonna make little slats here, but I think I'll hold off on that for the moment and see how it does after its first wash. Okay, so I'm gonna try it on for you. All right, and here is our last tank. Not gonna lie, it's a little smaller than I remembered, but it's good. It's snug. It's a form-fitting tank now. All right, so we've got our bottom edge here. I'm trying to get where you can see it. Okay, there we go. And then it goes around, swoops in the bottom. We've got a racerback back here, coming around. And there you go. So I'm ready to work out this week in my new attire, and I hope you are as well. If you have any questions, let me know. I know that some of this stuff, it depends on the shirt, honestly, and it depends on how you want it to fit. So if I can be a resource for you, please don't hesitate to ask me. Enjoy your day. Talk to you guys soon.